The trump shall sound both long and loud, even as upon Mount Sinai. The earth will quake, and they shall come forth, even the dead which died in me, to receive a crown of righteousness, to be clothed upon, even as I am, to be with me, that we may be one. Of course, this is the same language of the apostles that he just said. So this is the whole joint heirship that we're talking about here. And Christ, therefore, we can put the pieces together. He designated the apostles kings and priests and said, go forth and designate others kings and priests. Right? Share of my glory, right? First resurrection, bring forth those who are worthy. And this is clearly, temple language, right? You got all your symbolic clothing. You have Mount Sinai, of course, reference to Moses' ascension and investiture in Mount Sinai when he came down in glory and all this. But it is interesting that as we talk about these end time, last day occurrences, there's always a trumpet being sounded. And of course, I'm sure it's no coincidence that the main symbol of the church and the temples is what? The trumpet. We're making it known to the world that salvation is here, and that preparation for this first resurrection, this trump that shall come forth to be judged and receive these blessings. Like, the time is now. Right, this trump has been sounded, and these trumps are being sounded and will continue to be sounded in these days. And I just, it's we often refer to the temple angel as the angel Moroni, but you can see there's several angelic. We're about to get into this, but like there's the symbolism here of Michael sounding the trump, and I kind of like to think that that's an alternate meaning of the angel and the trump on the temple is the archangel Michael sounding the trump and initiating forth these great prophetic events of the last days as well, because that's certainly related to these things.
This makes me also think of, we talked about this before, but I think, was it Elder Stevenson who came to the temple several months back, and he was referencing how temple worship in the coming
might
days,
have been Anderson.
will be Anderson. Maybe it was. Forgive me. I think that's right. I think it was Elder Anderson, and he just talked about and referenced how in the coming days temple worship will be more significant. Meaning, I think it's going to be even more central in our worship than Sunday.
He might have said
Sabbath worship.
He might have said temple worship will become more important than chapel worship.
Yeah, something to that effect, though.
Something like that.
That seems to go along with this verse, like pretty hand in hand, like the continued increased focus and work and effort and energy in what we're doing in the temple is, I think that is going to become more and more of where the saints' attention is going to be diverted for the leadership and for the Lord. Now,
there's a few verses here that continue on about the signs and tribulations and everything that's going to happen. One of these really jumped out at me, and it's a very, very famous symbolism here, prophecy, that the sun will be darkened, the moon shall be turned to blood, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and there shall be greater signs in heaven above and in the earth beneath. And for some reason, it just jumped out at me that this symbolism of sun, moon, and stars, that's the kingdoms of glory. So I know we often like to take these things and interpret them very literally, like we're talking about, solar eclipses and lunar eclipses and all this kind of stuff, which, who am I to say if it is or isn't? But what I can say is there is some great symbolism here of sun, moon, and stars representing degrees of glory. And so I'm just throwing this out there just as something to ponder on. But the sun, obviously, celestial glory, revelation coming from the source, God. The moon, terrestrial glory, typically is more of a church, kingdom of God on the earth. And then, of course, stars would be more the individuals, the celestial beings on the earth. Thank you for watching. If you found this content spiritually enlightening, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Like the gospel, these little things make all the difference, and it helps the algorithm push out better content for everyone to enjoy on YouTube.